Well, hello everybody, and welcome to episode 28 of the Classic Rock Podcast. For those about to pod, we salute you. On this special St. Patrick's Day episode, we will be discussing all the best in Irish rock. Our hidden gems, as usual, with our lovely news features as well too. And My Year in Rock is 2018, which Matt will be taking us through. But our show would not be complete without my partner in crime, who this week has just found out that could have qualified for the Irish football team in the 1980s.
Absolutely.
When Jack Charlton was the manager. Here he is, Mr. 64th Irish person, 164th Irish person, Mr. Matthew O'Shaughnessy O'Toole Murphy Rogers.
But I am actually 164th Irish. I think something like that. Anyway, on my mum's side, I've got a feeling my auntie Leslie and my auntie Vicky, who listen to this, are probably, I'm not sure they listen actually, but they would be able to verify which part of me is Irish.
Sense of humour.
Yeah, so it's St. Patrick's Day, Brian. Well, belated happy St. Patrick's Day to you, Brian, because you are Irish, of course.
I am indeed, yes.
Despite the fact that you and I were born in the same hospital. We found out a few years ago, didn't we? So both Brian and I were born in North London. In fact, they got a blue plaque on the wall, Brian. Did you know that?
For me?
Yeah, I got blue. Actually, I got one at your university as well. 15 years this boy has spent here, Brian Maley. I think that's really nice. Because apparently you hold the record for the longest time at Sunderland University.
It would appear so.
Because I made a big faux pas at the end. You should never leave a gig early unless you really have to. Yeah. But I had to catch a train, so I left before the end. Nico McBrain from Iron Maiden had come on stage and joined them for a couple of songs at the end. And I was quite sort of devastated at that because I've left a couple of gigs early, and you always think, well, so and so's not. It's not likely Jimmy Page is going to come on stage with them, or Paul McCartney or whoever. I've seen some pretty good kind of. We'd like to bring out, the guys from Aerosmith with Bon Jovi, or guys from Queen with the Foo Fighters. I was quite disappointed about that. I mean, just brilliant guitarists, especially Richie Kotzen. Doesn't use a pick, does he? Kind of plucks it and strums it and flicks it and all sorts. I mean, you can play the guitar a little bit, not very well, but you can play a little bit. I mean, he's
made a faux pas during the gig.
Oh, really? Oh no.
Yes, I did. Mine was more of an internet Facebook faux pas where I thought I would give Simon a big thumbs up on our page, on our Facebook page.
Very kind of you.
Yeah, it was. I thought Simon's doing a good gig. He's out on St. Patrick's Day, and I tagged the wrong Simon McBride.
Ah, okay. Well, so on the old podcast, we quite often follow fashion. We've talked in the past about Tony Iommi's fragrance, which I've still not been able to get hold of, to be honest with you. Can't get hold of the old fragrance for love of money. So Harry Styles, late of One Direction, has I think I've said all this before, haven't I? But anyway, we carry on. Harry Styles has got a new fashion line, which is nice, as you do. We should probably get a fashion line, shouldn't we, Brian? Black t-shirts, jeans. That's pretty much it, isn't it, really?
Choice.
Apparently, Harry Styles called him the embodiment of pleasing. Pleasing being this new brand. I thought that was amazing. Of all the people in the world, you choose Mick Fleetwood.
To sell your beauty brand.
Exactly. All 6'6" of him, or whatever he is. So there's the latest in our on-running series of fashion-related items. Fashion and beauty. This is Matt Rogers, fashion and beauty correspondent for those about a Pod We Salute You podcast. Okay, good. Well, get back to me. I'll get my people to talk to your people. Right. So last time, last time, which was the Rock Epic special, wasn't it? Epic. You gave me the year 2018.
I did indeed.
It's only 4 years ago.
I know. Yeah.
I think my favorite gig of the year, before we get onto the albums, really enjoyed Europe and King in Brighton. And to commemorate that fact, completely unrehearsed, is Brian's wearing a Europe t-shirt, one of 200 that he owns. Europe t-shirts, that is, not t-shirts in general. Yeah, that was at the excellent Brighton Dome, Brian.
I just looked at the t-shirt, Matt, upside down. It's Walk the Earth.
Walk the Earth, of course it was, because you bought me a mug. I remember you bought me a mug, and I still use it. It's in my. I also went to see the Foo Fighters with Kelvin, the social media guy.
Oh, okay.
If that is indeed his real name. No, his real name is Kelvin. Kelvin, the social media guy. That's his full name. He's had to change it by deed poll just for this podcast, which I think is nice.
But to see the Foo
and out comes the drummer from the Tempest Movement. And you know me, I'm normally very cool around rock stars, very cool. Ask John Law about the time he met Steve Harris, of course. That was very, very cool. But this time, I wasn't. And all I could bring myself to say was, have a good flight. And that was it. Have a good flight. What does that mean? I hope your flight doesn't crash. But anyway, so David Wilson, who was the drummer then, he's brilliant. We love Miles Kennedy on this podcast, and everyone should love Miles Kennedy. He's absolutely fantastic. And that album is well worth a listen, The Year of the Tiger.
During Rambling Man 18.
Oh, yeah.
First one is saying.
Why do I feel this is going to be embarrassing for someone on this podcast?
Could well be.
Could be.
Could well be. Let's deal with the positive ones first. And he had Ozzy's mannerisms down to the T. You know the way in which Ozzy sort of constantly takes the mic off the microphone stand and puts it back. It was comedic. Exactly. It was comedy genius.
Absolutely. Where were you in the university kind of life cycle of your 15 years then? First year, weren't you?
I was genuinely graduating.
Really?
Yes.
So they still call it the Emerald Isle because it is very green. Whenever I've been, I've noticed how green it is, but it isn't any more green than, let's say, Kent, is it really? I mean, if you look at Ireland from space, does it look more green than anywhere else in the world, I wonder?
Good shout.
Yeah. Yeah, he was
forgotten, isn't he?
Absolutely. Ubiquitous. Bernie Tormé was with Gillan in the early 80s, and then formed his own band. They were called the Electric Gypsies, but he had that very kind of anything from his Michael Schenker era.
Sorry, Macaulay Schenker.
Indeed, Macaulay Schenker. All hair extensions and naming conventions. There you go. There's the latest. There's the title for the new album: Hair Extensions and Naming Conventions. Over to you, Brian. Favorite Irish singers. So it brings us, Brian, to the part of the show that everyone looks forward to. Hopefully they don't fast forward to this bit. But if you have, go back. Go back and listen to everything else. It was good. Trust me. Are you ready?
I am indeed.
Hidden Gem Time. In fact, I had someone send me their version of Hidden Gem Time recently. Very nice. Thanks, Lola. That's very sweet of you. One of our younger listeners sent me her version of her singing Hidden Gem Time. Much better than mine, actually. Lovely voice, Lola. Scott. Anyway, that was it is Hidden Gem Time. What have you got for us, Brian?
I'm gutted. Do you know what I was half expecting? I was half expecting like Riverdance.
Yeah, I did think about it. I've got my violin over here, and I've got my bodhran tucked away. In fact, I have actually got. This is what I would call. I'm just getting it out very carefully. There you go. Is that? Not everyone can see it, of course. That is my. Is that a bodhran or it's just a drum? Anyway, it looks a bit bodhrany.
It's bodhrany.
It's Gem Time.
It's a bodhran.
Can't stop now. I've started. Right. What you got for us?
You do know that's going in the video clip.
That's fine. That's what it's here for. That's what it's here for. Visual effects. Right. Brian, we need to have a talk about your reading.
I'm sorry.
You know. How are you getting on with that colouring book, by the way? That Thin Lizzy colouring book.
Well, I have to say, you're coming up to mine quite soon, so I'm going to have to get cracking on with it, aren't I?
I'm not going to do a colouring book inspection. Don't worry. Actually, in a roundabout sort of way. So I'm going with an album by an amazing singer. You and I have seen him. You may not realize that we've seen him, but we have seen him. It's an album by.
Do you remember Phil Anselmo from Pantera?
I do. Yes. So that was episode. What was that? Episode 28.
28.
Blimey, we're getting through them, right? Only 2.5 million to go.